What's going on, yo? Welcome back to basketball, and more importantly, welcome back to Bleacher Report. It's been like over a week. What's going on? But anyway, I found an article I want to dive into today. It's called Handing Out Awards for Every NBA Team This Season. I'm looking forward to reading it, but before that, make sure you guys like, subscribe, and comment. I've responded to every single comment on my YouTube channel up to this point, and I intend to keep on doing so. Please especially go watch the Are They Ready for the NBA videos. They almost always get demonetized, but they're my favorite to do on the channel. They've been doing pretty well recently, and we just finished Duke Week at the time of seeing this. There's also a Walter Clayton video up, so make sure you go watch, enjoy them, give them the support that they deserve. But anyway, let's hop into the article. Oh, it's been too long, Bleacher Report. It's been far too long. What kind of YouTuber am I if I don't find other people's content and just put my own dumb reactions on top of it, right? That's the whole point of YouTube, and so I need to get back to my roots and get back into Bleacher Report. But anyway, no, I really thought this article would be kind of a cool one because the NBA season is wrapping up at this point, and I think it's just kind of interesting to go and kind of give out some awards or give some recognition to every single team just right before the playoffs. And I was like, are they really going to do like most improved player, six-man rookie of the year for like every single team? And it doesn't look like that's how they're going to do it. It looks like they're going to do an MVP for every team. Makes sense. And then they're going to look at like the other major awards, the DPOY, the six-man rookie of the year, and give out like one of those to someone that could be in the conversation on their team, and then one miscellaneous award that they kind of make up on the spot. And that actually sounds kind of cool, so I'm looking forward to diving into that. And as always, we're starting out in alphabetical order with the Atlanta Hawks, who kind of having an interesting season. Let me pull up the standings because, you know, we're basically at the end of the season at this point. What do we have, like 2 more games max for most teams? The Atlanta Hawks are currently finding themselves as an 8 seed. My Chicago Bulls are matching up with the Miami Heat again in the play-in. I'm getting so sick of seeing these guys every single year. I don't even want to be here, but we're here. Heat fans, do you guys want to be here? I don't think so. But the Hawks, they're an 8 seed, and this has been a weird season. Trae Young had like a really weird first half of the year where he wasn't playing that great, in all honesty. He wasn't playing that great for his standards. He's been playing really, really well ever since then. Dude is on a mission to try to get something done right now, so we appreciate that. I think it's cool, like, how much of the offense he's able to just hold on to, despite, like, Jalen Johnson being down, and them just not really having really any shot creators on the team outside of him. Now, the thing with Trae Young is always, when are we going to get that kind of next level of him where he's able to do a little bit without the basketball as well? I don't know. I think that kind of unlocks the next stage of him, but I'm not sure we're ever going to see that because it just doesn't really happen. But Trae Young, awesome basketball player, right? I think it'll be interesting to see if the Hawks end up like moving him this offseason. I would probably say not. I don't think that'll be the case. I'm sure the conversations will be had because there's some obvious teams to move him to, but I think Atlanta's going to hold on and see what they can do with this interesting young core. DPOY, Dyson Daniels. Yeah, no, that makes sense. He's probably going to actually win Defensive Player of the Year now, right? Because Wemby was going to be a shoo-in. He goes down. Dyson Daniels probably going to be the guy just because of the stats, if nothing else. Like, the counting stats of the steals is just so ridiculous that I feel like that's just going to be the easy one to hand it to. You could probably do Alex Caruso. Amen Thompson probably is the answer. Chris Dunn potentially another answer for that one, but it's probably going to go to Dyson Daniels, and he's an awesome defensive player. Like, he's awesome. The way he navigates, like, screens and stuff is absolutely elite, one of the best in the game, in my opinion. He's just really shut people down this whole year, so no surprise here. And then the random award is the Better Than Advertised award. Zachary Reese-Shea. That's fair. I mean, probably the least talked about first overall pick of all time. If you guys go back probably about a year on my channel now at this point, you know, we were talking about Reese-Shea, and I said, hey, no, I think this guy's going to be starter level good in the NBA, like, right off the bat, first season. I don't know if he's ever going to be an all-star one day, but we've got a guy that should be a decent defensive player, should be a pretty good shooter, like, looks like he's going to be a decent athlete, and we've seen that. It was a rough start to the season, but he's a rookie, right? Who cares? And ever since he got hurt and came back, things have been really, really good for him. Dude seems like he's made a huge adjustment to the NBA, like, pretty rapidly, honestly. I'm a little bit surprised because it looked like he was really trying to play some European-style basketball, coming into the NBA, and the Hawks don't really do anything like that. It's very much like Trey's got the ball. We're going to go work off of him. And that's just not what really happens here. One guy just doesn't have the ball the entire time. It's very movement oriented, very much like, hey, I got to go get my own shot from my own off ball movement. Ricochet's kind of adjusted to being like, all right, I'm just going to work from my couple spots here. Whatever Trey needs me to do, I got him, and he's been thriving. So shout out Ricochet, man. Very, very cool. The Boston Celtics, MVP Jason Tatum, I'm sure. Yep. Do I really need to tell you that Jason Tatum is probably going to be all NBA first team? Probably not. He's amazing. He can do anything on any given night. Awesome guy. Probably still my pick to win the finals as of right now, just because I've seen them do it already. So I have no reason to think that come playoff time, they're not going to flip a switch a little bit and get there. I'm not saying it's going to be easy, but I would pick them as of this moment. Sixth man of the year, Peyton Pritchard. Yeah, no, Peyton Pritchard has just, it's interesting. I never would have thought he'd become this good. He is so impactful on both ends of the court. Obviously, offensively, he can get you 20, 25 points any single night. He's one of those guys that can just go out there and really get buckets. We've all heard the thing about how in practice they really just have stop Peyton Pritchard drills because that's how good he is offensively. Will he probably win that award? Yes, he probably will. Dude is just shooting the shit out of the basketball as well this season, so it's been really, really impressive to see. Really, really happy to see his growth. Ageless wonder, Al Horford. Boston's managed the 38-year-old's minutes all year, but Horford consistently excels on both ends of the court. It's a scientific wonder that he can still handle the toughest switch assignments on D. That is so true. They've still got this guy out on the perimeter, like guarding people and switching him on to guards and stuff. It's awesome, yet like people still can't like score on him in the post. He's just like the ultimate unk in the NBA at this point, isn't he? And shout out his alma mater, Florida, for winning the national title. Maybe that rejuvenates him a little bit, brings him back to his youth even more for this playoff push, which may be his last for all we know, but maybe he can just beat Father Time for forever. What an awesome vet to have on your team. The Brooklyn Nets MVP Cam Johnson. Yeah, it wasn't going to be anybody else, right? Cam Johnson is their best player by far on the team. After that, you probably go to like a Nick Claxton, right, who was out for most of the season. Cam Thomas, maybe just for the scoring. He's pretty rough defensively most of the time, but dude gets buckets, cool player. Cam Johnson is the best of both worlds for being a pretty bad team. He actually had a pretty solid defensive season. Offensively, he can kind of do a bit of everything for them. Obviously, the shooting is the big part of it, and he's able to put the ball on the floor and create a little bit. That's, in an ideal world, not what you want Cam Johnson to do, but on the Brooklyn Nets is what it is. We've talked about him a lot this year as kind of being a guy you probably want to keep around for whatever elite player you're hoping to get in this next draft class, so that they've got somebody on their team next to them when the season starts. You don't want to do the thing that the Pistons did when they drafted like Cade and such, where it's like, okay, we got Cade Cunningham. This guy looks like he's going to be really, really good, but we're tanking, so we don't want any other good players on the team, because then Cade like gets his development stunted. People don't even pay attention to him. Nothing's really going that well because he doesn't have NBA players on his team. So you want to keep some NBA players on the team to help the young guys develop. Coach of the year, Jordy Fernandez. Yeah, he's been awesome. I'm sure the Nets wish they had a worse record this year, but they didn't really move on from a lot of their vets early on enough in the season, and they were winning a lot of games, and we actually made that prediction early on in the season. We're like, hey, they've still got like a lot of very solid basketball players on this team. Like, this team's not going to be an easy out any single night. Like, these are all very competent dudes, and Jordy Fernandez came in. Seems like he's establishing a pretty hard-nosed culture. This team grit and grinds quite a bit, and despite having a very depleted roster now, they continue to, give teams their all each and every night. So cool. You've got your coach hopefully going forward. Maybe one day they'll win the finals and fire him too, because that's apparently just what we do nowadays. There's no coach that's safe. I don't know what you have to do to keep your job as a coach at this point. That's a reference to the Malone firing that happened earlier this week. I can't wrap my brain around it still. I can't. I don't know what else to think about that. Hopefully the next coach is awesome, but doesn't make a ton of sense to me. Iron Man, Jalen Wilson. Yeah, dude plays like every game and plays quite a few minutes. Unless you're a resident of one of the 5 boroughs, you probably had no chance of guessing the Nets leader in appearances. Yeah, no, Jalen Wilson's pretty healthy. I expected more out of him at this point. I'm going to be honest. Like, I didn't really know much about him when he came into the league. The more I watched him, I was like, okay, there's kind of something here. And it feels like we're kind of going backwards a little bit in terms of his play. But maybe it'll get better once there's better players on the team, which I don't necessarily know how soon that'll happen. So I don't know, but Jalen Wilson, cool. I'm holding out hope for the potential young wing. Let's move on to the Charlotte Hornets. MVP LaMelo Ball, yeah, no question about that one. The hard thing with LaMelo this year was he's pretty inefficient, right? He's also on the Charlotte Hornets, who just couldn't really figure out much of anything going on this season. When him and Brandon Miller were on the court together, things were typically pretty good for them, but injuries and injuries and injuries are just going to keep on piling up for this kid. I'm personally of the camp that I think the Hornets should move on from LaMelo. I think they should move on, try to collect some more draft assets. They've got a pretty new regime in here. Despite having a young core, this regime didn't pick a lot of these guys, and I don't know. Like, there's just some moments with this guy that I just don't see him taking things very seriously, and I think the style of play that he has needs to be kind of confined a little bit more, and I'm not sure Charlotte's got the culture to actually do that. So I think it would be both in the best interest of LaMelo Ball's future and the Hornets' future to just kind of depart from each other. But if they keep him, like, I'm not going to fault you either. I mean, dude's an all-star level talent, right? There's not many things that this guy can't do on the offensive end, and even defensively, dude's incredibly smart, right? It's just, I don't know. I don't know, man. I don't know. I want more for LaMelo Ball. Like, I want him in a system that I feel like can kind of rope him in a little bit and really amplify the things that he does so well. What other awards could we possibly have here? Do we have like a most improved? Musa. Yeah, a lot of rebounds. Musa gets a lot of rebounds, and Hornets fans absolutely love him. He does not do much else. Does not shoot the basketball, pass the ball, really do anything, but dude plays with a ton of energy on a team that was desperately in need of center help for a lot of this season, right? And he came in, grabbed a ton of rebounds, blocked a lot of shots, gave a great effort all night. Cool. That's a guy you want to keep around, right? Hungry guys on a young team that's not really going anywhere right now anyway. Cool. You found a little diamond in the rough, right? A guy that can maybe play some backup center for you and just bring some energy. Great. That's all you really need. I love that. Right Call Award. Jeff Peterson, the Hornets front office exercised patience and operated with long-term goals in mind. A refreshing departure from the previous regime's go-nowhere pursuit. I would completely agree with this. Something that I noted very early on this last offseason, so I was like, okay, Hornets new regime. This team is typically a poverty franchise, right? And they still had a poverty franchise season. Don't get me wrong, right? But I'm like, hey, they did a couple things right off the bat that I'm like, the old regime would not have done this. Like, they signed Taj Gibson. That seems like such a dumb thing, but just going and getting a vet like that for kind of that 15th man spot, like, that's long-term thinking right there. You're getting guys to kind of corral all the young people, right? All the moves they made seemed really strategic and like well thought out, even though they tried to be kind of slimy with the Mark Williams thing. But like, I'm glad that they're trying to do stuff like that. Like, they're trying to take advantage of things and make good long-term decisions. So I'm very hopeful that they're heading in the right direction for this stuff. I have to imagine Mark's going to get traded this offseason, but I'm curious, man. I'm very, very curious to see where they go. I do think this front office is at least trying to make the right moves. So very curious to see what they do in the offseason. Oh, my Chicago Bulls. Oh, my Chicago Bulls. Who is possibly our MVP? Kobe White. Okay, Josh Giddey's late season run made it close. Yeah, I would agree, but it's probably Kobe White just because of all the scoring. Like, Kobe White doesn't do a ton else on the basketball court. He's not really setting anyone else up for anything. He's not really playing great defense ever, but dude can get a bucket whenever he wants, right? And I remember when we drafted him, I kind of said he feels like one of these like ceiling six-man spark plug type of guys, and don't get me wrong, he can go get 30 any night in the NBA, and so that probably constitutes a starting guard, but he's not quite like the point guard that you want, but he can score at will, so like there is kind of a role there if you have the right team around him. Obviously, a lot of people thought he should have been in Orlando at some point this season. I would agree with that. It seemed like a pretty easy move to make, but regardless, he's here. He's on one of the best value contracts in the NBA. Bulls should have traded him. They didn't trade him, so he's here now. Dude can get a bucket anywhere, right? He can get a bucket anywhere. Rookie of the year, Matas Buzelis. Yeah, great end of season run, I guess. What are they saying about him? Despite ranking 7th in minutes, Buzelis is the Bulls' runaway leader in blocked shots. Yeah, they don't really have anyone else on the team that can do that. That's just one indicator of the rookie's athleticism and competitive intensity. Those two things right there that's what I saw this year, right? Really athletic, lengthy young kid that really worked his ass off when he was on the court this season. And, he's playing for his hometown team. That's awesome, right? I'm really happy with that. As a Bulls fan, I'm not super high on him long term. I just don't really know what the ceiling is. I really think the ceiling is like a starter if he can get the jump shot figured out. I have a lot of reservations about whether or not he's that type of player. I have questions about the handle and everything. So I just don't really know what kind of player I have right now in him, but I'm certainly rooting for him. Certainly root for him. And the Glad You're Back award, Lonzo Ball, one of my favorite players in the NBA. I know he hasn't played a ton necessarily, but when he's on the court, man, it's just fun to see the passing, the defensive intensity, and all that. I thought the Bulls front office, one of the few right things that they did this year was not trade him, give him the extension that they did, because it's on a much more tradable number now. So if he comes back next year, he's got a whole off season to try and get healthy now, right? And to try to get himself into good playing shape. If he comes out and he's playing really well to start, he's going to be a really valuable trade asset. And so if we can do that, we can go get some assets for him, then I'm going to be really happy about that. And I think that'd be a great move. But I'm just waiting for this team to bottom out eventually. I'm just so sick of being in this 10 seed. It's been so long. We've been in like a play-in spot for like the last 9 years. And please, just let me bottom out and go get a good basketball player, please. Next up, sorry, I'm like responding to a bunch of texts right now. I'm about to leave on a like a business call, or not a business call, a business trip. As you can see, it's like 8:40 in the morning on Thursday, so it is what it is. I'm trying to get my videos recorded ahead of time. The Cleveland Cavaliers, Donovan Mitchell MVP, yeah, no question there. What an elite season the Cavs have had. Coach came in, got this team to work it all out. For whatever reason, the previous seasons, they weren't able to have like that kind of core four group of Jared Allen, Evan Mobley, Donovan Mitchell, Darius Garland, like all ever on the court together and working well. It just didn't happen. And we kind of all said why. I don't quite understand why they can't all work together, but they statistically just don't. And now they do. And they're really, really good, believe it or not, because they have a really, really good basketball team and 4 like all-star level players on there. They added DeAndre Hunter, very, very cool. But Donovan Mitchell's the guy that's kind of been making it run for most of the season. What do they have here? But Mitchell winds up taking it on the strength of his team, leading point and EPM total. Shout out the EPM numbers. We bring those up all the time on the estimated plus minus right here. So where is Donovan Mitchell? There he is, right here. He is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So statistically the 7th best player in the NBA this season. Obviously more nuances behind that, but now pretty good reason to be MVP. DPOY, Evan Mobley, he is an absolute monster defensively. Big, long man, move very well. Not surprisingly, good at basketball on the defensive end, right? What's been really cool is seeing the offensive game kind of come around. You're seeing more threes go up. You're seeing him rip and go to the hoop and finish around the rim. He's awesome. I see him as like a young Chris Bosh, honestly, with a little bit more defensive potential. There's so many other guys on this team that contribute, so it's hard to really measure his true impact, because I know he's only getting like 18, 19 points a game or something like that this year. But when you've got Garland and Mitchell scoring as much as they do, and you have a Jared Allen on the team, and now you have a DeAndre Hunter on the team, Karis LeVert was on the team earlier this season, 18, 19 is pretty damn good. Anyway, back on track, or Darius Garland. I would agree with this. I totally agree. It turns out the broken jaw that put Garland on a liquid diet for a good chunk of last year was the cause of his seeming slippage. Who would have thunk? Yeah, like context is always for people like, this guy's ass. Shout out all the people on Twitter, you dum-dums. Healthy and entering his prime, the Cavaliers point guard has a 99th percentile offensive EPM figure. I'm glad that the people at Bleacher Report are starting to learn more about these numbers. That's really, really cool. Where is Darius Garland here? There he is. Oh, he's actually 98 now. This article's from like 3 days ago, so it is what it is. But Darius Garland is awesome. Love him as a player. Very, very excited to see what they can do in the playoffs. The Dallas Mavericks, oh no. MVP, like Kyrie, yes. What other awards are they going to do for this team? I am so sorry. I watched the Dallas and Lakers game last night where Luka gave them the most casual 45 points ever. Probably the most expected 45-point game in NBA history, right? I thought he was going to just go for 60. That's what I said going in. I'm like, okay, yep, 60 points on the way. Shout out Nico Harrison for showing up, and shout out Mark Cuban for when the chant started for fire Nico Harrison. He just kind of dropped his hands into his lap, and he was just like, oh, why did I sell the team? Oh my God. Like, they ruined it so fast. My perfect team. I feel so bad. I feel so bad. Maybe not for Nico Harrison. That was just dumb as shit. You have to live with the consequences of your actions. Dumb things happen. I've done plenty of dumb things. MVP Kyrie Irving, yeah, awesome basketball player. I don't need to tell you that Kyrie Irving's really, really good at basketball. And then he went and tore his ACL. I don't know what this team does going forward. I know the Kevin Durant trade rumors are going to be alive. A lot of the moves that they made at the deadline after Luka were definitely to set up for a potential Kevin Durant trade. Is Kevin Durant and Anthony Davis enough to keep this team afloat for a while? Hypothetically, yes. Then Kyrie Irving comes back. You're banking on a older point guard that's had a couple major injuries. He's coming off an ACL tear. That's tough. I mean, Kyrie Irving's just kind of a hooper, so I assume he's going to get back to being very, very good, but to what extent, I don't know. This team is going to have a really conflicting offseason. Most improved, Najee Marshall. Very underappreciated part of the Pelicans the past couple seasons. One of those guys they kind of brought in and developed when they were developing like all those really good wings. And he had like a really rough start to the year, but then he like really got going. This was Najee Marshall's most productive season overall. Career best 13.4 points per game, but mostly earns his award for what he did, being thrust into a higher usage role after the All-Star break, where his averages of 18.7 rebounds, 3.5 assists. Yeah, he handled the ball a lot more, just did a lot more for the team. Very, very cool. Awesome stuff. I wouldn't expect this from him going forward, as there'll be better players back on the court, but you know, weight of the world award, Anthony Davis. Yeah. I don't even know if he should feel the pressure as much, because I like, if you're a Mavericks fan, right, you probably just look at Anthony Davis and you're like, yeah, no, dude, you're a really good player. Like, no hate or anything. We just, like, we want our guy back in Luka. Like, we hope the best for you. I feel like if Anthony Davis got traded from Dallas, they'd be like, hey, man, free yourself. Like, that's, like, we're sorry that this happened to you or whatever, and that you became, like, the butt end of this joke. But Anthony Davis is still really good. He gets hurt a lot. It feels like even when he's been back, he gets like poked in the nose or something each game, and he's down rolling on the ground for a little bit. So I don't know. I don't know what to do with this team, man. I feel uncomfortable talking about it at this point. It feels like I'm kicking a dead horse. So I just want to move on. The Denver Nuggets. Okay. MVP, Nikola Jokic. Yes, he's the best basketball player in the world. I'm not going to explain any more to you. He is the best. That's just who Nikola Jokic is. Sixth man of the year, Russell Westbrook. Yeah, he's definitely in the conversation. The chemistry of Russell Westbrook and Jokic was a really cool thing to see this year. It was nice to be reminded, like, and I know there's been some Russell Westbrook hate recently because of like some of those missed layups at the end of games, which, like, yeah, man, it happens. It happens. Just get over it. Like, grow up a little bit. But Westbrook's an awesome basketball player, right? He's really, really good. I've had my criticisms of him over the year where I'm like, I don't know if he always necessarily plays winning basketball, but he is a very smart basketball player more often than not. And he figured out very early on, like, oh, interesting. I can pass the ball to Jokic, and if I just cut really, really hard or run little like hook routes or something kind of around him, he will pass me the ball every single time, and I will get open layups. And Jokic was like, yeah, that sounds pretty good to me. And they just did that like the whole season, and it worked out really, really well for Westbrook. He even subbed in at the starting lineup for different points this year when there were different injuries, and he had some huge contributing games for them. So yeah, Westbrook, very, very nice season. Hope he sticks around in Denver. I think that's a good place for him. Just keep signing cheap contracts, man, and trying to compete. I think that's the best thing for you to do at this point of your career. New Dimension Award, Michael Porter Jr. What do they mean? One of the leagues. Yep, he's a sniper. Debuted in 2019. MPJ is finishing up his best close range scoring season ever. I guess I never noticed that. He's on track to take over a third of his shots inside 10 feet. Really? He's been especially effective on those tricky floater range tries. Really? Like, he's not like taking floaters though. They're like floater range, right? Like, yeah, he's like stepping in like a little bit and putting the ball on the floor a little bit is what you're saying. I guess I can think of times where I'm seeing that happen, but very interesting. On a Denver's offense that needs more, like, needing to be more dynamic and self-creation from everyone, Porter Jr. stood out as adding some new dimensions. Yeah, Michael Porter Jr. is awesome. I'm glad that the front office is like, no, don't move this guy. I don't think it makes sense to move this guy. He fits so well next to Jokic. Defensively, he's had a bit of a down season. His help defense is still awesome, but the perimeter defense has been especially kind of like this season. So something to kind of watch out for with him. But I don't know. This team's also just not that great defensively. So I'd like to think it'll get better when other people kind of come back into the lineup or they find some more defense. Moving on to the Pistons, MVP Cade Cunningham. Yeah, he should also get like most improved improved for this team too. What have we said this whole season? You need to win some games to win some games. We said that about the Pistons going in. We're like, you need to add quality players around Cade Cunningham so we can see if this guy's actually got something. I mean, most people in inner NBA circles would have told you, like, yeah, Cade Cunningham's awesome. Like, you just need to put some damn players around him. They did. Now he's really good. Look at that. Now we know. It's like ABC's formula works a little bit. Very cool. Sixth man, Malik Beasley. Malik Beasley, we've been talking about on the channel all year, man. I'm like, please just give him more minutes. Please. Dude is such a good NBA player. He's just shooting the shit out of the basketball for years now. Beasley will finish the year as the league's most accurate high-volume three-point shooter. Only he, Curry, Jordan Poole, and LaMelo Ball got up at least 11 three-pointer attempts per 36 minutes, and Beasley tops at a rate of 42.1%. That's insane. Insane. Very cool. And then the Buy Stock Now award, Asar Thompson. Yep, you have to remember he's coming off some injury stuff as well, some medical issues. He came back later in the season, took a little bit to get going, and by the end of the year, he was rolling pretty good for them. Obviously, the defense and the athleticism is awesome. He doesn't have a lot of the ball handling skills that like his brother has. His brother was always more of the point guard, and he was more of the wing, and so that's kind of how I tend to look at them. But he profiles to be a defensive player of the year type guy at some point, right? Both him and Amen are probably going to be in those conversations for a long time. Their basketball instincts are elite. Their ability to finish at the rim is just elite. Their athleticism, 11 out of 10. Never seen athletes like this before. It is, it's really, really cool, and I think a cool option to have coming off of like a Cade Cunningham, because he knows where to be on the court at all times and doesn't need the basketball to do so. So nice complimentary piece. Golden State Warriors, Steph Curry, MVP, 37 years old, still awesome. Yep, no ifs, ands, or buts about that. DPOY, Draymond Green. Yeah, that's fair. In addition to self-promote, Green continues to excel as a multi-positional stopper who diagnoses opposing offense's actions better than just about anyone. That's a weird way to phrase that sentence. Golden State's post-trade deadline of adding Jimmy Butler is often, yeah. Okay, fair enough. So they're saying, like, yeah, Jimmy Butler coming in is help because it's added a better perimeter defender and a smart guy for him to kind of play off of. Totally agree. That makes a lot of sense. That's why you add good players, to help boost your other good players, right? That's just common sense. And then new toy award, Quinton Post. I've been really excited about Quinton Post because I felt bad, Warriors fans, because Warriors fans get very attached to any young player that they have that shows any bit of light. Just being honest with you, Warriors fans. And I was like, hey, Trace Jackson Davis. I'm like, I know you're seeing some interesting things out of him. I don't actually think he's all that good. Like, I think like other teams are kind of just like, okay, you can kind of do what you want, Trace Jackson Davis. We don't care. I'm not saying Quinton Post is going to be a star by any means. They didn't have him up for most of the season. They were kind of developing him in the G League or whatever. They bring him up, but like when I watch him play in the system, I'm like, okay, 7-foot dude that is able to play Golden State style basketball, because Golden State, they're the only team that play the way that they do, and they refuse to adapt, right? They're not going to change. They're going to make every single other player fit in there, right? Which makes it very, very hard for young people. But in this case, Quinton Post seems to fit into it really, really well. And he's kind of thriving in it. He's playing in like these handoff actions and the pick and pop, and he's hitting his three ball, and he knows where to go with the ball instantly. So kind of cool. I'm excited about Quinton Post for you guys. The Houston Rockets MVP, Şengün. I would say it's Amen Thompson, honestly. I think Amen Thompson just does a little bit more for you because he's so impactful defensively and he's had all these offensive bursts this year. But what are we kind of saying? He can anchor big-time postseason winner. The fourth-year big man was Houston's lone all-star. Will finish second on the team in total points and ran away with the lead in rebounds and assists a month ago. Fair enough. It's hard to argue with that. I think it's pretty close, but I would give it to Amen Thompson, Defensive Player of the Year, Amen Thompson. Okay, maybe that's the real reason why Şengün got MVP, because you want to give DPOY to Amen Thompson. Yeah, he's probably the best defensive player in basketball. His instincts are insane. He's shutting down your favorite player every single night. Like, I saw some statistic that, like, against, like, top scoring, like, guards and forwards this season, he's holding people to, like, 25% three-point shooting. And, like, I don't know what the field goal percentage was, but it was abysmal. And he's getting, like, X amount of, like, steals per possession, which was, like, crazy. So, yeah, no, he shuts down your best player every night. And then holding out Hope Award, Reed Sheppard. Oh, no. I was really hoping to not have to talk about Reed Sheppard here, just because I got so many comments from Rockets fans this offseason of me telling them, like, guys, do not get too excited about Reed Shepherd. I promise you, it's not going to be good for him this season. I've seen this so many times. People fall for stuff like this, and they were like, EVC, he's going to be our starting point guard. He's the shooter we need shooting. Oh my God, you need shooting? Oh, I didn't know that. Oh, I can't look at the numbers online. Oh, no, I'm sorry. I'm being mean because y'all were mean this offseason. They're like, you don't know basketball. You don't know ball. And I'm like, look, man, I get shit wrong. I'm pretty confident about this one. Didn't go well for him. I am holding out hope for him more than I think most Rockets fans are, though, because I'm like, look, I can see a role for this guy. I just think it's going to take a little bit for him to get there, and I don't think it's going to be a high-level role at all. He did have like 20 points last night, but, it's March basketball, so, is what it is. They're not really playing any of the other guys right now, but hey, get some confidence, is what it is. Can't wait to see you in Summer League. Reed, hope the best. Indiana Pacers MVP Tyrese Halliburton. Yeah, weird start to the season. Is he still playing hurt? I can't quite tell, but shots are going in much more now. The assist numbers are crazy, and he'll get like 0 turnovers, debatably just the best passer in basketball at this very moment. Very, very elite stuff out of Tyrese Halliburton. I don't really want to explain these MVP ones too much because you guys know that these guys are good players. DPOY, Andrew Nembhard. It was interesting. Earlier this season, I was making comments like, yeah, Nembhard's good defensively. I'd like to see more out of it still. I'd like to see the Pacers do kind of some increased complexity type stuff with him, where they're switching him onto other people. They're kind of doing more some bump off stuff with him to kind of hide other not as good defenders on the team, and we're starting to see that a little bit. So credit to the Pacers for challenging him appropriately and getting going with his game. I think that's very, very cool. Hopefully he can develop a little bit more offensively, because I still don't always like the decision making that he makes, or the decisions that he makes in the courts. Rock Solid Award, Pascal Siakam. Yeah, old reliable. This award could have just been renamed. We just need to acknowledge Siakam somehow because he's such a reliable two-way enforcer. Siakam is finishing up his 3rd straight season of 70-plus appearances while averaging over 20 points and hitting threes at the highest clip of his career. Pascal Siakam's awesome. Shout out Spicy P, man. He plays really well in this system. He was a really nice addition to this team. What's the ceiling of this team? We don't know, but it was the right move to go get Spicy P. Next up, the Clippers. Okay, fair enough. MVP James Harden. Yeah, I mean, I guess it has to be. I feel like James Harden's been such a forgotten player in the NBA this season because he's kind of just existing on a team that we don't expect to actually be competing, but they've been pretty relevant for most of the season. Where are the Clippers at in standings at this very moment? They're still a 5th seed. They're 48-32 because they have so many quality guys on the team. I really hope Zubats gets a note here. And then Norman Powell, obviously, Kawhi Leonard, been so in and out this year, but we've seen some moments of Kawhi. He looks a lot less explosive, though, so that makes me kind of sad. But James Harden still just kind of running the show offensively. He can still get to his step back, still get to his floater. Defensively, it's James Harden, is what it is, but still one of the harder dudes to stop offensively in the game. Defensive Player of the Year, Chris Dunn. Thank you. This is what I'm saying. Chris Dunn needs more appreciation. Like, his defensive numbers are absolutely insane. Dunn is currently 2nd league-wide in defensive estimated plus-minus, which is a per-minute stat, considering that he's also logged more minutes than either of the 2 players sandwiching him in Caruso and Asar Thompson. There's a case to be made that, at least by one catch-all metric, he's the most impactful defender in the NBA. I would tend to agree with that. I really would. I think he's one of the most impactful guys. It would be Wemby, but in statistics, we can't capture the idea that people will literally just not try against Wemby, right? And what do I mean by that? People literally just won't go to the paint because he's down there, because common sense. They're like, okay, there is a 7'4" man down there that I've seen block shots with his armpit, so I'm gonna not do that. I don't want to be on his highlight reel, because I know the NBA likes to put him on a pedestal whenever they can, and my highlights are going to be everywhere, so I'm not going to do that. And our statistics can't capture that, right? With Chris Dunn, you kind of have to run into him as a guard, so it's a bit different, but glad they're giving him some attention there. Bigs are back award, Ivica Zubac. Yes, he's been so awesome this year. Probably one of the most underrated players in basketball right now. Big Zoo could easily have earned DPOY honors, agreed with that, but he needed to carve out space for Dunn's brilliant season. That's fair. Career year marked by personal bests in scoring 16.5 points per game, 12.5 boards, That's insane. That's insane in of itself. 2.6 dimes on a team with some very ball handling heavy guards on it, right? Saw Zubats dominate games on both ends in a manner that seemed to belong to the mid 90s. I would agree with that. He's just out muscling and out toughening everybody. Like, if he gets the ball in the block, it's just boom, boom, I'm putting it on your head. It's awesome. I really, really like Zubats. He's got really nice touch. That little post hook he's got is awesome. His footwork looks really good right now. Cool, cool, cool. Lakers, MVP, LeBron. Yeah, it's fair. Luka wasn't here for enough of the season, but it's been Luka ever since then. LeBron, really underrated defensive season, too. Dude, despite, like, some numbers that you would see out there, I feel like he's just always in the right spot, and he seems like really, re-energized since Luka's been on the team. His off-ball defense has been especially fun. By the way, did you guys see that one possession they had against Dallas where they were just throwing the ball around and LeBron kept like getting up in the air and throwing the ball like behind his back? I don't know what was going on during that possession, but kind of crazy. Coach of the year, yeah, JJ Redick has been everything I wanted him to be and then some. This goes back to my theory that teams need to be okay with going and finding new names to be coaches. That's something that I think Phoenix just really messed up this season. Just not going and finding like the right smart coach to get things done. You want smart coaches. JJ Redick seems to be the perfect combination of like, hey, I was a pretty good basketball player, so you have to respect me there because I was able to go really get buckets on the court. But also, I'm the smartest guy in the room, so I just do know more than you and you can't question me. I promise you nobody works harder than him, like studies more than him. It just seems like he's that dude. Really, really excited to watch his coaching career. Very, very cool. This changes everything award, Luka Doncic. Yeah, let's save Mavericks fans a little bit of sorrow and just say Luka Doncic is awesome. They got him for pretty much nothing. And I don't know if we'll ever see a trade like that again. Absolutely nuts. Memphis Grizzlies MVP, Jaren Jackson Jr. Thank you. I made a very bold take at the beginning of this season. It wasn't bold in my opinion, but I got a lot of shit for it, for being like, you think... Oh, let me get in my AVC whiny voice, because I know a lot of you guys like this. AVC, how can you say that John Morant isn't as good as Jaren Jackson? Have you seen him dunk? He jumps so high, AVC. He's going to shoot you, AVC. Which, that last part, potentially, apparently. Some of his celebrations are getting a little wild at this point, which look, he shouldn't be doing that stuff, right? He shouldn't be. It's in his contract. It's really immature of him to be doing that, right? The just human being in me is kind of rooting to see more of it just because it's objectively hilarious. But I like for years now, I've been like, no, Jaren Jackson, like, he can carry a load offensively, and he's so impactful defensively. He gets his teammates involved with things. I'm like, I think he's the most valuable player on this basketball team. John Morant is really, really good. I just don't think we give Jaren Jackson Jr. enough credit. A likely all-defensive first-teamer for the third time in his career. Jackson's dominant work on that end of the court paled in comparison to his offensive growth. Not only was this Jackson's best three-point shooting season since he broke out in 2019-20, but he also developed a startlingly effective on-ball weapon. That's what I'm saying, y'all. He can like do it with the basketball as well. Pretty impressive. Rookie of the year, Jalen Wells. Hey, man, hope he's doing okay. That injury was scary. Like, I know that it wasn't like, it didn't necessarily look intentional what happened to him on that fast break, but I think you got to punish that stuff, man. I don't know how that happens. Like, I don't know. I just don't know how he get in a situation like that. Probably done for the year for him, I'd have to imagine. I don't actually know what the actual injuries are, because like he did break his wrist, right, I think. But what a fun season for a second round pick. It's always cool to see a second round pick really establish himself early on. Very, very cool. But this team is now missing their starting wing on a team that has really no wings. So yeah, that's a problem. And then shaky ground award, John Morant. Head coach Taylor Jenkins' late season firing unsettled everything in Memphis, combined with Morant's penchant for missing games, if I could read, and seeming failure to develop over the last handful of seasons. That's kind of what I'm saying. It's worth wondering whether it's the franchise point guard is still viewed as a cornerstone. I don't think we're at that point yet. I don't think we are yet, because he's a pretty elite player, but you got to start asking some questions, man, with some of the behavior stuff. And he's just like, did you ever see John Morant play 3 straight games in a row this season? No. Like, I don't know. It's annoying. The Miami Heat. I'm not moving very fast through this video. Bam Adebayo, MVP. Yeah. Yeah, no surprise there because Hero doesn't really do much for you defensively. Rookie of the Year, Kalel Ware. Very, very cool. I'm going to start going a little bit faster through this because I don't want this to be an hour-long video. I think it's really cool that he was able to do what he did this year without anybody actually making his life easier. They have nobody to help feed him the basketball when he doesn't really have an offensive skill set that can really help him just go get buckets. So he did this well without anybody to help him out. Very cool. One small step back award. Tyler Hero. Hero is finishing up his most efficient season ever, marked by his first true shooting percentage over 60, blah, 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 blah. Though his shot profile evolution didn't carry Miami's offense to glory, it did make it easier to see Hero as a first-time All-Star. One small step back award. I'm a little bit confused by that one. But yeah, Tyler Hero had a cool season. We'd like to see him develop a little bit more in kind of the ball handler type game. That's the next step in his evolution. Not sure if he's going to get there, but we'll see. The Milwaukee Bucks MVP, Giannis. Yeah, no surprise. Giannis, very good at basketball. Sixth man, Bobby Portis. Portis received a 25-game PED suspension in February, that was unfortunate. But he was the typical effective self prior to being banished. Yep, so that's fair. You have one job award, AJ Green. He shoots the ball. That's what he does. I love it. He just comes out there and chucks. I love AJ Green. Bearing a late season evolution as a downhill driver, Green is going to finish with one of the most exaggerated shot profiles in the league. More than 85% of his field goal attempts have been three-pointers. Hey, he's the guard version of Clint Capella. He goes out there and does exactly what he's told to do. Doc Rivers pulls him aside and says, AJ, I need you to space the floor, and I need you to get some threes up. And he's like, okay, coach, I'm gonna go out there, and that's all he does. He's like, coach said I shoot threes, so I shoot threes, and that's what he's done. I love it. The Minnesota Timberwolves MVP Anthony Edwards. Anthony Edwards is awesome. I just wish that the Timberwolves could help him out more and build a roster that makes a little more sense. Sixth man of the year, Naz Reid. Naz Reid is awesome. Every analytic says that he should be out there more than Julius Randle and Rudy Gobert because he's like the perfect combination of both of them, and he can actually put the ball on the floor a little bit and shoot and all these other things. Very cool. Perennial mixed bag award, Julius Randle. Yep. If you're a Timberwolves fan, you know what this means. Julius Randle has had some such great moments for you, and he's had some really low lows as well. That's the Julius Randle experience. He's awesome. Sometimes he takes plays off. Sometimes he does dumb things where he kind of loses the game for you, but he's talented as hell. So is what it is. New Orleans Pelicans MVP Zion Williamson. Yeah, despite being injured most of the season, he came back at the end of this year, showed us all why he is one of the best players in basketball and is quite literally unstoppable. Watch any NBA players' interviews talking about him, and they are as shocked as I was going up against him at one point and seeing him in person and just being like, holy shit, like what do I do? Like, you're just flabbergasted, and it makes me feel good to know that NBA players are just as flabbergasted as well. It's like, I don't know what to do against him. I quite literally don't know how to stop him, and he doesn't even take jump shots. Like, he's just unstoppable. They shut him down at the end of this year, which don't read into that too much. They're just like, look, we're not going anywhere. We're tanking. It's March NBA basketball. We don't need him playing. So Zion, awesome. I don't think they're trading him. Rookie of the year, Yves Missy. Yeah, he's young Clint Capella. That's what I said coming in. He knows how to do his role. There were times where he decided to like catch the ball in the block and try to just drive and dunk on people, and it didn't work out. But overall, pretty effective season. Almost a double-double, or does he have a double-double this year? I don't know. Pretty impressive for a rookie. Most improved Trey Murphy had an awesome season. 21 points per game on a team, mind you, that has a lot of injuries and such, but overall Trey Murphy showed that he can do a lot more like with the basketball. We heard a lot during the offseason that he was really putting a lot of effort into being more of a creator, and we saw that. He's still awesome defensively as well, but he's injured now as well, like everyone else in New Orleans, so hopefully he comes back and he's okay. All right, sorry, had to take a quick call. The New York Knicks MVP Jalen Brunson. No surprise there. You could make an argument for Cat. You really could, but the defensive numbers are so scary at times that I understand. Six-man Deuce McBride. Is it because he plays? He is the bench? Like, that's the only guy that we can trust coming off the bench for this team. Head coach Tom Thibodeau isn't known for leaning on his bench. That McBride is on track to log over 1,500 minutes as a reserve. That's insane. That's absolutely insane. Blah, 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 blah. But yeah, no, Deuce McBride, fair enough. Designated hitter award, Karl Anthony Towns. What does this mean? Towns and Kevin Durant are the only two rotation players shooting at least 52% from the field, 42% from long range, 80% from the foul line. Okay, cool. Unlike KD, Towns has a significant defensive responsibility as a center, although he doesn't often handle them well. Correct. That's the Cat trade-off, though, and the Knicks knew that knew what they were getting into when they traded for the sharpshooting, hard-driving big man. I love the effort that he's played with this year. The rebounding numbers have been absolutely insane. Defensively, he just does not know how to play defense. He really does not. I've said for a long time, last year when he had like his best defensive season ever, I'm like, I think he's just better when you put him out on the perimeter. I think he can stay locked in more. I think he knows what he's doing down there more. For whatever reason, he doesn't know how to be a defensive center. Like, don't know why. It doesn't seem like an effort issue to me. It just doesn't click for him for whatever reason. So I don't know, but Cat's awesome. Cat's awesome. The Thunder MVP Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. What an awesome basketball player he is, man. One of the most unstoppable people I've ever seen in the NBA. DPOY Jalen Williams. No surprise there. Really excited to see what these two can do in the playoffs. I'm gonna be one of those people that's a little bit skeptical of this team going in the playoffs, which I know, like, you guys are gonna be like, AVC, you're a hater. I'm bringing out the AVC like dum voice a lot today because I know what all of y'all are gonna say. I'm in y'all's head, but you're gonna be like, AVC, you're a hater. Oh, well, guess what? Like, this team hasn't actually done anything in the playoffs yet, so I'm gonna have some skepticism. But guess what? Once they do it, I'm gonna be like, hey, they did it. Good job. I'm not saying they can't do it. I'm just like not gonna hold out high expectations for everything. But this team's been really, really dominant. I do think that the way they play basketball makes it a little bit harder for them to find postseason success because I don't think it's like the hardest thing in the world to game plan for. And because the style of play shifts a little bit, it doesn't necessarily shift in their favor, but they're really talented, and Jalen Williams is awesome on both ends of the court. One of the most fun transition players I've ever seen in my life. The other DPOY award list. Thank you. This is awesome. Whoever's ever writing this article is awesome. Because if you guys have been on the channel at all this year, you've heard me say, yeah, and then basically OKC's got like all the steal leaders in the NBA. And yes, it includes like Lou Dort, Hartenstein, Chet Holmgren, Alex Caruso, Cason Wallace, etc. There's so many nice defensive players on this team that makes such a big impact, so shout out to them. Orlando Magic, what do we got? MVP Franz Wagner. Yeah, no, he's proving that he's the guy on the team. I think Paolo's going to be a really, really good player, but Franz is kind of that dude for now. But apparently he can't shoot. Like, I don't, like, look, it's not because he's white. It's not because he's a white guy. Just saying it. But, like, he looks like he should be able to shoot, right? Doesn't it? By, like, all of his shooting mechanics and everything, he just looks like he should be able to shoot. But the dude can't shoot. If he could shoot, oh, my God, it'd make his life so much easier. So, something to work on, right? We can't all be perfect. It just is what it is. But, no, like, his overall impact numbers, if you go look at any advanced analytics, like, Franz is the guy really making the difference on this team. He's probably the guy to focus the build around going forward. So I'm very, very excited to see more Franz. Still in charge award, Paolo Banchero. Yep, he's still going to take the end of the game shot right now. And Paolo's awesome. Like, I think he's a like future all-star type dude, extremely talented, really, really cool. I do think it's hard to build a team around him. And based on how Franz plays, that duo itself is very complicated for me to figure out in my brain. But it'd be nice if we could put some other quality, like, complementary players around these two next year to kind of see what's going on. Oh, I missed Rookie of the Year, Tristan Da Silva. No, slim pickings here, as Da Silva was the only first-year player to be featured in Orlando this season. His role was pretty limited, I'd say. He wasn't very effective, but as I always say, dude at least always knew where to be on the court, so credit to him. Philadelphia 76ers. Again, I don't want this video to be too long. Tyrese Maxey, MVP. Yeah, I guess everyone else was dead, so fair enough. Rookie of the Year, Jared McCain, our sweet TikTok prince. Yeah, you gave us a fun, like, 3 weeks there, man. It was really, really fun, even though it was starting to die off a little bit at the end there. But, hey, let's hope he comes back and we have a really fun duo backcourt next year for Philly. And then Mr. March Award, Quentin Grimes. Man, yeah, I got to watch him once in person during March. Like, dude is a bucket getter. We've known Quentin Grimes a good player for a while. I didn't know he could do it off the dribble like that. Like, he was legit just hunting people the past couple weeks. And, like, again, March basketball, who knows if it's real, right? It's hard to say because the Philadelphia lineups they were rolling out were absolutely nonsense, right? Some of the teams, like, or most of the teams aren't even scouting people at this point, so they're probably not seeing, like, oh, yeah, Quentin Grimes, I really got to make a game plan for him right now. But, hey, we've seen it, man. There's something there. So what's Quentin Grimes going to be? I don't know. Hopefully the Sixers are able to re-sign him and everything. That'd be a disaster if they let him, if he walked. But hey, what a cool player. What a cool player. The Phoenix Suns, MVP Durant. Yeah, no surprises there. I know Phoenix has been bounced. They can't even make the play-in at this point, which is crazy. But Kevin Durant, still one of the best players in the NBA. He just is. The defensive numbers down a little bit this year. Still not bad by any means. But overall, Kevin Durant at this age is still unstoppable. So very, very cool. Shout out Kevin Durant. That'll be interesting to see because he's probably going to get traded this offseason. There's going to be a lot of questions of like, what do you really want to give up for a guy that's this old? Well, he could still get you 40 points in any given night if he really wants to. So, I don't know. Rookies of the year, Iguodala and Ryan Dunn. They kind of stopped playing them for a while and kind of gave up on them. Like, neither of them can really do much offensively. I like Iguodala's willingness to pass. I think that's cool. Ryan Dunn's good cutting off the basketball, and he had a really good start to the year. Didn't work out well afterwards. Pretty good defensive numbers from both of them. Clock's ticking award, Devin Booker. Okay, career as a Sun. He's never made noise about wanting out, but with KD almost certain to bounce. Yep. I don't think Devin Booker's gone this year. I think that would be a lot for this team to try to accomplish in one off season, but I can see the conversation starting next year if they aren't able to bring in like a competent basketball team around him next year. I could see him getting pretty frustrated. The Portland Trailblazers MVP Denny. Thank you to all those people that were criticizing me when I was like, why are the Wizards trading this guy? And then Wizards fans come in and they're like, even see, I got Bub Carrington though. I got Bub Carrington. I don't give a fuck. Like, Denny's so much better. Like, he's young and he's good now. Why do I want to push the clock back even more? This guy's already good. We already saw he was good. And then you moved him, Washington. So dumb. 24-year-old on a descending contract, like cheap as hell. 22.5 points, 9.5 rebounds, 5.2 assists, 64% true shooting. Look at the numbers on the screen. It's insane. Denny's really good. Portland, good job for getting him and giving him the minutes and the ball handling abilities he deserves in transition. He is so fun to watch, and he's like not a bad defensive player. I wouldn't say he's like elite. He has his moments where he looks like he falls asleep a little bit, but there's room for improvement, and we'll get there because he's a young player still. Defensive Player of the Year, Tamani Kamara. Awesome. Love this guy. Awesome game. Really fun guy. And he even made some strides offensively this year, which I'm proud of. Sign of Relief Award, Scoot Henderson. I would agree. If we can just build a team that makes a little bit more sense, I'll feel a lot better next year, and we can see if there's actually something here. But the talent's there, and we saw this guy's a really elite passer, really good at navigating the pick and roll. The scoring kind of came in a spurt this year, so cool. Yeah, I guess we'll see. I'm still very hopeful about Scoot Henderson. The Sacramento Kings MVP, Sabonis. Even though he didn't make the All-Star game, he really should have, and he probably should be All-NBA again this season, which is crazy that he keeps having to prove himself like this. Defensive Player of the Year, Keegan Murray. Yeah, man, what happened? He went from, like, offensive guy that can't play defense to defensive guy that can't play offense. Why can't he shoot anymore? What's going on? I'm so confused. Like, he was such a knockdown shooter at first, but, hey, this is where we're at with things. So we wish the best for Keegan Murray. And what's it going to take award? Keon Ellis. Since trading Fox, the Kings have used 4 different lineups for more than 150 possessions. The only ones with positive point differentials feature Ellis. We've been saying this all year. An energetic defensive pest who can cover everything from point guards to small forwards. Yeah, and he shoots the ball really well on a team that needs more shooting. Not only does Ellis allow the Kings to field units with a second capable defender next to Murray, but he's also the highest... Yeah, okay. Fair enough. What does he have to do to get a 30-minute role? I don't know. They have a lot of 2 guards on the team that can score a lot of points, so I guess it's hard to put him on the court. But I agree. This team's going to have some work to do this offseason. I'm curious to see what they do. The Spurs MVP, Victor Wembanyama. It's just a matter of time before this guy's winning MVP awards. Hopefully he's good going forward after the blood clot situation, but Wemby is phenomenal. You know that. Rookie of the Year, Stephon Castle. What a fun season, right? Smart basketball player. He got better throughout the year. The three-point shot started to go up a little bit as well. He seemed to get a little more confident. Dude makes a lot of boneheaded mistakes out there still, but he's a young guard. It's cool. Very curious about his long-term fit with the team. Like this little like group that they have of Fox, Wemby, Castle, and Vassell. Like, in my mind, I'm like, okay, I don't really know how all of these pieces fit together right now. But, you know, you've got a lot of assets and stuff like that, so I think it's cool. And then Try Anything Award. Is this because they just let Sohan kind of do whatever? Sohan was exclusively a power forward as a rookie. Last season, he was a point guard, and now he's a backup center. Yeah, he's just versatile, right? He really is. it's never a good thing when you can't find a role for someone. I know Spurs fans are kind of like, yeah, let's go find us a new power forward, a little more size. I don't disagree with that. I think he should, but I think Sohan still has a role on the team going forward. The Toronto Raptors, MVP Scotty Barnes. Yeah, it was a pretty gross season, but yeah, it's probably going to be him. Most improved RJ Barrett. Prior to this season, Barrett has never posted an assist rate above 17%. Oh wow, 27.8% this year. That is pretty dang good, especially considering the players he was playing with. That's really cool. 21.4 points per game. Skeptics could trot out the somebody's got to put up the numbers on a bad team. Yeah, I get that. Like, it both is a point and isn't a point. Like, you're still the one scoring them. And a lot of these guys could score 20 points in the NBA. But yeah, there's also some truth to that. Like, yes, somebody had to score this year, so it was going to be RJ Barrett. And then the Guess We'll Find Out award with Brandon Ingram. Yeah, there's a big part of me that really wants them to win the lottery, just so that they can have Cooper Flag and we can build out the most Toronto Raptors team of all time of just 6'9", like kind of ball handling power forwards, because we know that's all Toronto wants. And I just think that that'd be hilarious. So that's what I'm rooting for. Utah Jazz, MVP Walker Kessler. Yeah, they didn't play Lowry a ton this year. Like, it just is what it is, right? Like, they were kind of sandbagging it a bit this year, letting other guys get on the court for other amounts of time. Like, is Lowry the best player on the team? Yeah. Walker Kessler, though, if you look at the analytics, it was actually him. Just because his defensive impact is so good. He's a very good starting center in the NBA. His conversion rate around the rim is absolutely insane. So he plays his role extremely well. Shout out Walker Kessler. Rookie of the Year, Kyle Filipowski. Shoots the ball really well. Nobody really guards him. Surprisingly good transition player. Never would have guessed that of him, so very, very cool. Doesn't get like any rebounds and can't block shots as a big man. Kind of concerning to me. He's kind of weak and kind of backs down defensively. So I'm a little bit worried about that long term, but hey, let's ride the wave and see what we can find with him. And do we have something here, Award, in Isaiah Collier? I don't know. I have no clue. Like, impressive physical specimen. He'll get you 15 assists in a night with 9 turnovers. So I don't know. Again, it seems like Utah's just kind of rolling him out there and being like, hey, like, we're not really trying to win games anyway. Let's go see what you can do, young fella. He'll go to like these spin moves where he's like falling over and he's got like no coordination with his feet, but he'll find someone and it's kind of like, oh, that was gross, but I guess it worked. And then next time it'll just be gross. So I don't know. I'm hopeful for Collier. And the Washington Wizards MVP Jordan Poole. Yeah, nice season for Jordan Poole overall. Dude got some buckets. His life got a lot easier when Middleton and Smart got to the team. Surprise, surprise. You put NBA players on the team, your life gets a little bit easier. But Poole, really elite ball handler, passer, scorer, shooter, right? He can do a lot of those things, man. He plays for the Wizards, so it's going to be tough. Rookie of the Year, Alex Sarr, defensive monster, already switching 1 through 5, helping from like the top of the key down to block shots at times. Really cool. And we all see that little glimmer of like when he gets a defensive rebound and he just goes coast to coast. Sometimes it ends really goofy, but he looks so coordinated when he runs. He's so fast for like a center. And I'm like, oh, okay, we might have something here. And we knew he wasn't going to have much of an offensive game coming in. We didn't have those expectations, but we're hopeful going forward. We very much are. And what's the last one? Don't give up award. Bilal Coulibaly. Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah, a dip in the shooting accuracy is concerning, but he got better as a playmaker. He's always in the right spot, and the defense is cool. So yeah, no, I'm not giving up on him whatsoever. Let's get some better players around him and kind of go from there, right? I think that's the fair thing. But anyway, that's your end of the season awards, y'all. Kind of a fun video to just kind of go through and recap some things from the season. We'll probably have another college player breakdown for you guys tomorrow, but let's move on to the comments of the video. All right, y'all. Comment of the video comes from the Come On Maluwatch. Is he ready for the NBA video? Again, please go show these videos some love because they almost always get demonetized. Actually, I won the legal battle on the Con Knipple one, so I get to make money off this one. I beat them, and they're probably going to send me another copyright notice or something like that, but that's fair use. Go give these videos a watch. But anyway, the comment is from Lachlan Quinn 8335. I just kind of hate the name Lachlan now after watching White Lotus, just keeping it a buck with you. But anyway, he said Raptors for sure, in response like, hey, who does he want him to play for next year? Perfect fit next to Scotty. He said, stumbled upon your page a few weeks ago and your attention to detail is phenomenal. Instant fan. And he wanted to know if my agency is hiring. First of all, I don't own a scouting agency. I run and this is me being a little bit anal, I run an analytics and like basketball consulting company. It just so happens we have a couple people such as myself that can be put on retainer for scouting and recruiting and things like that. But I was just really happy to get a comment like this saying like, hey, your attention to detail is phenomenal and instant fun. Because like my goal for this channel is really to do two things. One, for if you're a basketball sicko, I want to provide you some extra information that you're maybe not getting somewhere else on YouTube. But also, I want things to be really easy to absorb and understand if you're kind of just getting into basketball and you don't maybe watch it a ton. Like, I want to take some of my coaching skills and try to explain things in a way that actually makes some sense. So that's kind of what I'm shooting for there. But anyway, I appreciate you guys as always. And yeah, we'll talk to you guys later. Have a great week. Thanks so much. Bye.